everybody, Michael with One Sky here with a new moon video looking at the new moon in constellation Scorpio on November 26, 2019. This is a new moon in the actual astronomical stars of Scorpio. We're using a true sidereal astrology, which takes into account the actual size and location of the constellations, not the traditional Western zodiac of 12 even 30-degree signs. This changes things, so for some people, they're not expecting a video about a new moon in Scorpio. And for some people who think this is just sidereal, it's a little bit different. True sidereal is its own ball of wax. And I don't want to say too much about that because there's a lot of information out there that's great. What I do want to say is that this new moon is in the constellation Scorpio, and the full moon is going to take place in Taurus. So the axis of energy here between the sun and moon is really about bringing our feelings, the passions and feelings of Scorpio, into alignment with the material security, with the resources, with the kind of stability in the material world that Taurus so appreciates. And the way that this is best expressed is when our values and our feelings are in alignment with our endeavors to monetize our actions, just to make money. This is very Taurian. So just thinking about this new moon in those terms kind of helps you put that into a basic framework. That's the snapshot. We have this Scorpio Taurus alignment. I want to take a look at the chart. This is the new moon, and I want to note right away some of the alignments that really stand out. We have the sun and moon in conjunction. That's always the case when there's a new moon. They're in the same degree of the sky, and that is the degree just about two and a half degrees into Scorpio. So really a little of the Libra cusp energy is at play here, but that's on the degree of a star, fixed star Deshubba, which is the crown of the Scorpion. And this is a star that was really unlucky to Greeks, so we inherit a lot of ideas about this degree of the sky, about Deshubba, about Scorpio in general. A lot of people hear these stereotypes. Scorpios are assholes, Scorpios are jerks, Scorpios are dark and brooding, and it wasn't something the Greeks had a really, really good, really healthy relationship with. To the Arabic astrologers and astronomers, these stars were also the Scorpion. In fact, in Arabic, Libra wasn't the scales, but Libra was the claws of the Scorpion. So Deshubba was the head, though, was always the head of the Scorpion. And to the Arabic astrologers, it was a really powerful star. They called it the jewel, and it was very fortunate. They had no problem with it. They really appreciated its influence. Same with the Hindu. In Hindu lunar mansions, the nakshatras, you find Deshubba in a nakshatra called Anuradha, and this is the goddess Radha was one of prosperity and abundance, success. So this is a very fortunate placement. So for everyone who comes to this just comes to this moment where you are watching this right now and thinking, oh, Scorpio, those are unfortunate stars. That sucks. That's a really Greek idea. And frankly, I don't claim to know what that's about. But there are other takes on the energies here. and very fortunate, very prosperous, very successful, which is great because that's a major stamp on this new moon chart. The moon and sun are trine up to Chiron, and Chiron is in Pisces, in the degree of a star called Alciat, which is really about the heavier emotional dimensions, about some of the sadness and some of the heartbreak that we all experience from time to time. So this is a cycle that might be a theme where we might see this, but it is in the context of the healer, of Chiron, and it is empowered in harmonious flow to the energies of the sun and moon. So when I look at this as kind of a template, a kind of imprint that's going to carry itself through the whole of the lunar cycle, almost like a birth chart, is going to be manifesting those qualities throughout the cycle of a person's life. So we may see that because Chiron's going to stay in the degree of Alciat until the next new moon. Another interesting feature of this new moon is that we have Mercury here in Libra, and he is trine up to Neptune, who is stationed direct. And when something stations direct, it's just sitting there in the sky. It's not in orbit. It's not a passing thing. It's not moving. It tends to leave like a more profound stamp, a very interesting stamp on whatever it touches. And in this case, Neptune stationing direct is touching in that harmonious flow of trine, touching Mercury. That's reflecting the way that thought, communication, information, logic, left brain thinking, the way that organizes itself. So Neptune is very right brain, very intuitive, very deep and strange and weird and mysterious, even a bit transcendental. So we may find Mercury, especially in Libra, able to carry that balance and connect with our deeper intuitions during this lunar cycle. That's a big mark here. This trine, and another set of trines that's really just really pretty joyful news. We see Jupiter and Venus having just passed the galactic center, having just experienced that kind of emergence, the expansive emergence into Sagittarius after this dark, more intense passage. This passage through this darker, more intense area of the sky. You have them in trine to Uranus in Aries. And that's exciting because the three of those are the three major benefics along with the sun. You see, those are the major blessing planets. And when they're all in alignment, they're all in harmonious flow. This really is a great time to, with Uranus in trine to a Jupiter Venus conjunction, it's a great time to try new things. It's a great time to change things up, to have an adventure, to go exploring territory. Maybe it's a time when exploration is supported. It's a time when growth, when change, when experimentation is supported. In the realm of business, in the realm of romance and relationship, it's a time when experimentation, exploration, new patterns, it's a time when we'll be empowered to create new patterns for the benefit of our projects, of our businesses, of our relationships, of our interpersonal connections. It's a very auspicious relationship, and it's really going to inform a lot of the way the fire, the energy of fire is reflected, acting on the human psyche, because we have this trine in the stars of Sagittarius and the stars of Aries. So we have this new moon in passionate Scorpio with Mercury trine up to Neptune and all the benefics configured in harmonious flow. We have we have Neptune's going to be increasingly important in the flow of this lunation, the flow of this lunar cycle, because as the sun and moon come into opposite degree in the sky, and we can take a look at this, as the sun and moon come into opposite degree in the sky for that full moon on December 12th, what we see is that those energies, that flow between Scorpio, Ophiuchus, the sun's actually in Ophiuchus proper, which functions a lot like late Scorpio, all of the mythologies really transfer, like the maturity of Scorpio, having gone through the process of transformation and having emerged from its ashes, that phoenix that is Ophiuchus, and so bringing our passion and our vision of the new moon and that intention to take that project and be able to monetize or come into some kind of resources by it. That's a great expression of this cycle. And Neptune, you can see T squares that full moon. So it's gonna play, and it's trying up in a really close trine to Mars, and Mars has shifted up to be where Mercury was, and Mercury has shifted up to exactly the degree, down to a 6-minute difference, to the Mercury here in Scorpio is exactly where the new moon was on Teshuvah. So all of these energies aren't just things that we're going to activate and touch on and then move past, but they're energies that are going to be themes in this lunation. So how do we align with that? Well, like I said, explore. You can take risks, more so at this time than at other times. And I don't want to encourage reckless behavior, but I want to say you can trust the results of taking unusual chances. You can. This is a great time for growth, for expanse, a great time for connection, a great time for just unexpected doors to open, a great time to really, with all the benefics like this, in especially in Sagittarius, where Jupiter is just at home, right at home. All of this is a great time to roll the dice, and in our endeavors, we can work with this Neptune and Mercury energy here by understanding this pair of sextiles to Saturn, because that's going to be taking that visionary inspiration and that intuition of Neptune and not just marrying it with our left brain and our logical mind, but bringing it down into what we're building, Saturn. Bringing it down into what we're building, because this is how Saturn in its earthiness and Taurus in its earthiness relate to each other. They're just about the real world. They're about that comfort, security, materiality in Taurus case, but about building, about 1 foot, 2 foot, growth and progress sustained over time in the material world. Very much of the theme of Saturn. And you have that Saturn in conjunction with Pluto, approaching that January exact degree of conjunction, January 2020. So these are the themes we're seeing this cycle. Mars is an activated energy. This month it's activated because it's directly opposed to Uranus in the new moon chart, which might be blessings in disguise. The way Uranus is relating to all this positive energy, it might be a lot of more explosive drive, more explosive emotional energy. Could even be outbursts of anger that come up from within you or directed towards you. That's a theme that may touch. That's a theme that may touch the whole lunar cycle. The next new moon, not this new moon, November 26th, but the next new moon is going to be a full solar eclipse, and it won't be visible stateside. It's going to be visible from Asia, I think, South Asia. And this is exciting because Sagittarius is really becoming populated. If you look, you'll see Pluto, Saturn, the South Node, Ketu, and Jupiter at home, ruling Sagittarius, in conjunction with the Sun and Moon for that next new moon. Powerful alignment. And within that cycle of eclipse, the Sun will move into conjunction with Pluto and Saturn in this degree of Sagittarius where they meet up in the 24th degree. The Sun will be in that degree at the time of the conjunction. And Jupiter will be in domicile at home in Sagittarius, ruling where it's most auspicious, where it's most exalted. So this is a great time not just to think about things in terms of how we're monetizing our passions, our drives, our desires, but it's also a great time to be thinking about the cycle of time since the last eclipse, which I think was early July. I want to say July 2nd on that solar eclipse, the last one. But the 26th of December, so the next new moon, going to be that solar eclipse. So anything that was stirred up during the last eclipse season, this has been the cycle of working with that, of putting that back together. Anything that needs to be tied up nice and neat as far as loose ends go before the next solar eclipse season, this is a great time to get that in order. There's a lot of good fortune here in this cycle, a lot of opportunity, a lot of good omens for relationship. I'd say it's a good time. There's going to be surges of connection and surges of kind of auspicious connection in the world of romance and relationship, and I think it's a rather good time to go with those impulses. Sometimes the libido and the connective force between humans gets stirred up, but it's not really auspicious for relationship as much as it's just a kind of rowdy influence that doesn't really do well in the long term. But this is very stable and good. Good fortune that comes your way during this time is likely to be real and genuine. All right, my friends. With that, I leave you. This new moon, November 26th in constellation Scorpio, is a great time to harness your blessings and gather what you really love, what makes you passionate, what drives you, what you really are fulfilled by, and find a way to live your dream and bring that into a revenue stream, into some kind of form to convert, and the alchemy of turning that, your love, into material security. This is that cycle. That is blessed. And as always, thank you for watching. I will see you next time.